So, I hear you want to know what it's like to be disabled. I think I can manage that. It sucks. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. What? That wasn't what you were hoping for? You wanted something a bit more in depth? Okay. It really sucks? No? You were kind of hoping to get a bit more information than that? You wanted to hear from the perspective of a disabled person what their life is really like, and the phrase "it really sucks" doesn't really give you much to go with? I mean, I guess. Alright. Wasn't really planning on this, but if you insist. Hi. My name is Autumn Skylar Dollinger, and as you could probably guess, I'm disabled. Now, there's the obvious, and then there's the not so obvious, the little secret parts of being disabled that I don't usually talk about, because some of them are embarrassing to me, but are actually a part of my daily life, and are things that might help give somebody that has never experienced this a new level of understanding. If I just kind of open myself up and be that open book I've always wanted to be and give you the nitty-gritties. To illustrate that, I'm gonna kind of walk you through my daily life, and you're gonna get a little bit of TMI. You're gonna get a little too much information, but I think giving you too much information might be exactly what is needed to help. So I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and with that comes a whole bunch of comorbidities. I've talked in depth more so in other videos. I'll leave some informative links about the conditions that I have down below. I don't really want to get into the nitty-gritties because this video is more just about the experience itself rather than the conditions. So that's the explanation I'm going to give for that, and we're moving on. So when I start my day, first thing I have to do is untangle myself from a beast. And you might be asking yourself, what? What beast could possibly be your foe? My CPAP. You see, about a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with the funky, fresh, new trend, sleep apnea. It's a fun time. Totally wasn't terrifying learning that I had it, and the process in which I learned it was that I was having nightly hallucinations of all of the furniture in my room morphing into monsters, and I started snoring so badly to the point that my fiance was like, "Hey, I recorded it. This is what you sound like. Maybe we should get that checked out? Maybe that's why you're so tired?" It was, and it was also the cause of hallucinations, which isn't talked about a lot, that sleep apnea can cause you to have frickin' hallucinations and feel as though you're gonna be murdered by them. It's fun, it's fine, it was a grand old time. So, start my day by taking off the machine. It's fun. Luckily, I have a very good model, so it doesn't make too much noise. So, that's good. The first thought that I have when I open my little eyes is, oh God, this sucks. Because I have chronic pain, which means the pain, as you could probably guess, is chronic. Crazy that the name means exactly what it says. So I'm in pain 24/7. Some days are better than others, but no matter what, pain is there. It's fun, it's great, totally not demoralizing. So I wake up in pain, and the first thing I have to do after I untangle myself is I have to do some stretches, and then I have to take a whole bunch of medications. I take medications 4 times a day because I'm extra spicy currently. Used to be 3 times a day, now it's 4 times a day, but I'm working my way back to 3. And I have to take these medications every of the time, otherwise I cannot function. And we have medications for everything. We've got ones for the brain, we've got ones for my blood pressure, we have got ones for the pain, We have ones for my muscle spasms. We have ones to help me utilize the facilities. Then there's others, you know. But I just take my little cocktail, drink a whole bunch of water, and start my day. Now I go downstairs and I make myself something to eat. I eat the same exact thing for breakfast pretty much every single day because it's safe. Not in a disordered way, but in a way that prevents me from going into anaphylaxis. Because I have a condition called mast cell activation syndrome, which means at any point I can end up being allergic to something. I don't respond to an allergy test because it is an abundance of mast cell mediators that become triggered at random intervals to things that I'm not actually allergic to, but my body thinks that I am, even though I'm not. It's really, really weird because why not? Why not add that in? And that is also something that I didn't find out until later in life. So, I eat my breakfast. I will likely have some sort of doctor appointment. Again, doctor appointments for every part of my body. Usually physical therapy as well, 3 times a week. So I'll do that. I'll take a long hot shower because, oh boy, am I aching, and oh boy, do I need the heat. But I can't have it too hot, otherwise I'll pass out, because I have a blood pressure condition called POTS, which is fun. It's great. It's making it so I have to wear compression socks all of the time to make it so my blood moves more effectively and my blood pressure doesn't tank, and I have to take blood pressure medication, so again, it doesn't tank. So, I'll take my shower, put my compression socks back on, I'll get changed, and immediately I want to crawl back into bed. Because already, it's been a long and eventful day for me. Now, throughout the day, I try and be productive in whatever way that I can, but no matter what, I usually have to take a nap because I am so exhausted by just living. It is really frustrating because I have a lot of motivation. I'm a motivated baddie. I want to get so much done, but I can't because being disabled means that I don't have as much energy and chronic pain. Now, one thing I did leave out, which is one of those TMI things, is before I take a shower, I have to do a little ritual, a little regimen, if you will. Every single day, I have to take an enema. Because otherwise, I will get impacted, and I will have to go to the hospital, because I will get so bloated because I can't go to the bathroom. Because the lower part of my GI tract is a little paralyzed. Again, a little extra spice. Because why not? I mean, my life was already just so wonderful and so easy. Why not add that in? And I have to do this, again, because otherwise I'll get impacted. And if I don't keep up the regimen, it will get to a point, again, that I'll be impacted. But also, things will stop working, and I will have to be given a decision, a choice. This decision is lurking over me all of the time. This option that when it gets to a point when enemas don't work anymore and the medications don't work anymore, I will have to get a colostomy bag because why not? Why not? So instead of that, I do my enema every day because screw that. Think I'm going to do that? Hell no. I'm not doing that until there is no option left, baby. I will do enemas every single day until I can't do them anymore, basically. So that's fun times. That's pretty much the extent of the TMI. But yeah, I don't go to the bathroom unless I do that. And, you know, after all that, the showering, I'll probably take a nap. I'll try and be productive in some sort of way. But the majority of my day is spent resting. And that's hard. If I have the energy to go out in public, I will. But here comes a little obstacle that I just love. Whenever I'm in a public space, I'm just the most popular girl in the world. It's crazy. Not that people will come up to me. I mean, they do. They do, and they'll ask invasive questions. But I'm just gawked at. I mean, I must just be so beautiful. I must just be so gorgeous that people cannot take their eyes off of me. It is like they are not able to compute what they are seeing before them. Young, girl, disabled, does not compute, system malfunction. And that is every single time I go in public. People just stare. Their mouths open a little bit, they're like, they stop in their tracks. Even when I'm at the grocery store and they're in the middle of getting groceries, they just stop, look. They shut down. I mean, I guess I should be happy that I have that power, that womanly power to make men and women stop in their tracks and just not be able to handle what is in front of them. But I don't like it. I am not a fan. It is quite demoralizing, and it wreaks havoc on your self-esteem. Because already, I have issues with myself as an individual that has a little bit of an eating disorder they're in recovery from. But that was already an issue. Lump into that the need of mobility aids and other aids to function that are quite obvious. The disconnect between myself and, I guess, myself is quite large. It's just like, I cannot get there. And that is a very common thing for somebody that is disabled, to just not really have a sense of self. Especially beyond being disabled. It becomes your whole life. And there is this misconception that pisses me off, that people want to be disabled. I am sure that there is a small percentage of individuals that enjoy that. I mean, of course, there are malingerers, there are people that doctor shop, but the fact that the older population thinks that the influx of young people that are disabled is a result of them wanting attention and not maybe a result of better diagnostic material, more education, is frustrating. I don't want this. I don't want my walker. I don't want my legs to shake every time that I walk. I don't want to have to carry around an EpiPen because I am scared of what I am going to put in my mouth. So that's something that comes with being disabled that is very frustrating, is that there is a lot of judgment when you are young. There is so much judgment and there is so many misconceptions about not only what it is like to be disabled, but what causes it. And so many think that it is based in psychology, that is why so many young people are now needing mobility aids, and maybe not the fact that young people generations ago needed mobility aids but were forced to not use them because they didn't know what was wrong with them. I mean, can we talk about hysteria, the vapors, and how most of those women probably had POTS or some sort of vasovagal response, but instead it was just a womanly issue. Like, get out of here with your nonsense. The blatant sexism and ageism that is blatant within the medical industry is something that does not go unnoticed, and also racism, of course. All of the isms are definitely represented in the core of the medical community, and it is why a lot of disabled individuals aren't able to stay with the same doctors. For me, my experience is that eventually doctors get to a point where they stop trying and stop looking for something wrong, and then I have to go to a new doctor, and then that doctor will start doing the tests and be like, oh yeah, something ain't right. And it is only when I find a doctor that is willing to do those tests and willing to work with me that I find out what was wrong, and then I find a provider that I can stay with and trust. And it takes a long time. I mean, I started this whole journey when I was about 16, and I was judged relentlessly by medical providers because they were not willing to look beyond my psychiatric history. I mean, that is also something that is judged a lot, is if you present as somebody that has a psychiatric history, immediately your issues are put into that category because it is easier for them to blame you than to do tests. And because doctors have that stigma deep rooted within them, the general population also has that, because they see that medical professionals are judging individuals with mental health conditions instead of treating them, and they think, oh, they're a doctor. They must know what's best. So, it's just these kids wanting attention and wanting to be special. Sir, I didn't want this. It is to the point where I have convinced myself that I am the cause of all of my medical conditions. That surgery that I had in January, I've convinced myself that I made it happen. That I somehow purposefully broke my cervical rod and made sure that my bones did not fuse because I wanted another surgery. I've convinced myself, because the judgment that I received, not only from individuals outside of the medical field, but from individuals within the medical field, that has become internalized. And that is a struggle that many disabled individuals have, and it is a reason why a lot of them stop trying to get medical treatment. You will find that a lot, and you will wonder, why have you stopped trying to get help? You know, you'll judge the individual when in reality, we're just so tired of doctors telling us that everything's fine. And there have been many points in my life where I have done that, where I have tried to just push myself to be normal and push myself past my breaking point, because I need to push myself to get better. That's what everybody tells me. I gotta push myself. And then I'll break. And medical professionals will still blame me until I find one that will say, hey, these scans that I have right here show something ain't right. We gotta get in there. But it is easier to blame yourself and take it out on yourself than it is to blame the people truly at fault, which is the medical professionals who aren't willing to look beyond the norm, look beyond the easily diagnosable conditions. It's easier to blame yourself and punish yourself because at least you're taking it out on someone. And the mental health crisis that is in tandem with the disability crisis that is affecting so many young individuals is not evidence that everything is based in psychology and that these are manifestations of depression or anxiety or something along those lines. It is evidence that we are just tired of being treated like it's all our fault. Treated as if there is nothing actually wrong with us and that we want something to be wrong with us, that we are a malingerer or a hypochondriac. The hardest part about that is when you get told that you were right all along, and then you have to have your guard up every time you have a new doctor appointment because you don't know if you can trust them. And that is something deep-rooted in the disabled community. I think that when you look at the online communities and you see that there is such a large influx of young individuals with disabilities and needing mobility aids, that is not evidence of the younger generation wanting attention or wanting it easy. There is so much misinformation that people assume that we just want disability checks, that we just want to be lazy and not do anything. That is so far from the case. So many of us just want to live, just want to be alive and live to the fullest, but we can't. So what is it really like being disabled? It feels like you are wrong. Your body is wrong. You were not meant to be here. It's your fault. You shouldn't have been born. These are the things I tell myself on a consistent basis. I'm trying to do better, I really am, but in a world that's not built for you or built for your necessities, you don't feel like you belong. And people go very far to make you feel like you don't belong, even if they're being kind and saying how bad they feel for you. It almost feels worse being told how bad somebody feels for you, because in your own mind you're like, I'm just living. Don't feel bad for me. I'm alive. I'm still here. Or when people try and bring up religion and say you need to believe in a higher power or believe in their specific religion to be cured, when in reality you have a genetic condition that is likely going to progress and that no amount of praying is going to save you. And it's hard when you are in this vacuum where you are receiving all of these messages, whether in an online community or in person, which is very common for people that you do not know to just come up and say they'll pray for you or say believe in something, and you just want to scream, how can I believe in something when that something made me this way? How can I believe they'll cure me when they're the ones that did this to me? If there is something. And I'm not trying to get all religious. I'm just saying that that is what the experience is when you're told all of this. So what is it really like being disabled? It's a challenge. It is struggling to find yourself and define yourself beyond being disabled. It is knowing you will never live like your peers. You will never have a normal life. Even if there is necessarily not a normal, you know, if there was a definition for normal that the majority of people fit into, you would never fit in. But in some ways, being disabled is a gift, I sometimes find, because for me personally, it made me a better person. I'm more empathetic to others' struggles, and I'm more knowledgeable, and I think that I probably would have been a lot meaner. But I do not speak for the entire disabled community. This is just my personal experience and my personal way of coping with being disabled. As I tell myself, in some ways it's a gift, because I know more about pain, I know about struggle, I know what it is like to live in a cage and live in a jail that is your body. And not many people can say that. And it allows you this other perspective that otherwise you would not have. Would I still give anything to have it cured? Yes. But the truth of the matter is it won't be cured. Being disabled is trying to find peace. And I am still currently on that journey. But yeah, I hope that in some way this was informative and that you got kind of some insight into my personal experience, and that if you are disabled, I hope that I was able to articulate your experience as well. And if you guys want to share your own experiences down below, please feel free. If you have any other further questions that you would like me to answer in a format such as this, please leave them down below. I'm going to link some articles that are related to my specific conditions, and I hope that they help. I hope this video helped, and I hope that if you are an individual such as myself that is disabled and you feel alone, don't feel alone, because you're not alone. There's so many of us, and don't give up. Not that I judge anybody that's given up their fight, because that option is always there, and it is hard to say no. But those of us that continue to fight every single day, that's something to be proud of. That in of itself is a feat, and not many people can say that they've been through hell and chosen to keep fighting. That's what being disabled is. Constantly waking up in a hell and choosing to keep going. Choosing not to give up. So yeah, I hope you found some enjoyment from that and some information. And thank you for watching. Talk to you guys soon. And again, if you have any recommendations or any questions, leave them down below. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Bye!